Hi, this is Tim from Garden Hands. We're gonna harvest our beets today. About the only reason we use beets is for our V8 juice, and we'll can or freeze a few of them just for my eating because I'm the only one that knows that beets are good, I guess. Anyway, we have, what do we got here? A 15-foot row of beets, and we've picked a couple of them already they're huge. So these have grown extremely well. We've watered them a few times just manually. These are not on our drip irrigation, but they've come out real good, and we've had them for 2 meals and they've tasted good. So we're gonna get these harvested, and then we'll freeze them after we blanch them or cook them and blanch them. We'll freeze them, and then whenever we need beets for our V8 juice, we'll be able to just get some out of the freezer and it won't have to mess with this part of it. So, and they're getting so big that I can't lift anymore. So after a lot of discussion, we took a vote and we pulled them all. So we'll get these cooked up today, and that'll go pretty good. I think that won't be a big deal. And then they'll be ready for eating or making something else with. So anyway, partway through this, the reason I have this silly thing on is a week and a half ago, I had trouble for a while. I fell on the ice 2 years ago, and I should have had it looked at then. And we did some exercises and saw a therapist, and they did what they thought was good to do. And about 2 months ago, it started giving me more trouble, and you didn't sleep at night very much. And it would be sore, and then it wouldn't. And you could work, but it wasn't right. So we went to the doctor, to an orthopedic doctor, and they took a x-ray, and they said it's probably a cracked or a torn tendon. So then we went and had an MRI done, and it turns out it was more than a torn tendon. It was 3 torn tendons, and they ground off a bone spur that was there, and they put in some anchors to hold the tendons in place. They'd moved out of place when I fell, I suppose. So we had that done. So for the next 4.5 weeks, this has to stay on. I can't drive, can't do anything. Hardly anything, but I hope I can pick tomatoes. We can pick peppers. So this has to stay on, and then for 3 months after that, I have to do therapy if I want it to turn out as good as it can turn out. So that's why this is on, and it kind of sucks, but yet we'll get it done before winter, and then by next spring when we start making maple syrup, we can start making maple syrup. So she's cutting off the leaves or the stalk, and we leave about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches on there. Then if when we've got them in the pot and we're boiling, the theory is that they don't bleed out. It doesn't make a mess all over what you're cooking them in, but it keeps the juice inside them, so you retain that. And it works real good. When they blanch, or when you cook them, I think we cook them for about 1/2 hour, boiling them or simmering them for 1/2 hour, and after that we throw them in a sink with ice in it, ice and water, and they peel real easy. It almost falls off them, similar to a tomato. On the way in, we washed our beets at the well or at the hydrant outside because there's a fair amount of dirt on them, and it's a nice way to wash them without getting all that dirt in the sink. We brought them inside. We cut the top end. We left about an inch or two, I believe, on the top end of it. Put them in the water, or put them in our pot, one of the stock pots, and cooked them for a half an hour. And you can tell when they're done. They get soft. We left the skin on them when we cooked them. Took them out of the water and put them in a cold water, a bath with cold water, maybe some ice cubes in it, and then peeled them and then sliced them. And that was all we needed to do for our next step of what we're going to use them for, if we eat them or whatever. And we threw them in a freezer bag, and then they went to the freezer. So they'll be used in our V8 juice, and then I eat some of them, not too many, but we eat some, and that's primarily why we grow them. So that is kind of the end of the beets, or the beginning of them, for our processing for our V8 juice. So thanks for watching. Remember to click on like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.